If Christ was crucified, Islam is false. If Christ was not crucified, Christianity is false. So we have a touchstone issue that proves my religion wrong or your religion wrong.
At the Speaker's Corner, Bob carefully explained and revealed the deception that lies within the Quran. Muslims believed that Allah intentionally deceived the whole world about Christ's crucifixion for 600 years after he finally revealed the truth with Muhammad. Things got pretty heated when another Muslim decided to join in. But as the conversation unfolds, the truth was revealed. Just watch the video and decide for yourself. And do not forget to share your thoughts with us in the comment section.
So, for instance, let's cut to a chase, a clear blue water issue between Muslims and Christians. Christianity teaches that Christ was crucified. Islam teaches Christ was not crucified. Here we have two factual statements, two statements claiming to be fact about the person of Jesus. Now, when two people make a claim that are in opposition to one another, the thing that you do is you look for other kinds of evidence and you look at the quality of evidence to see who's telling the truth. And what do historians do? They look for multiple early independent sources about the issue. So let's do that about Jesus Christ and the crucifixion. And because this has real significance. If Christ was crucified, Islam is false. If Christ was not crucified, Christianity is false. So we have a touchstone issue that proves my religion wrong or your religion wrong. Now, when we look into the event of the crucifixion, the earliest independent sources that we have of both Christian and non-Christian writings all agree that Christ was crucified. Bart Ehrman, who's an apostate from Christianity, a critic of Christianity, and a textual scholar of the Bible, states this: if we cannot know that Christ was crucified, we can't know anything about history at all. Christ's death on the cross is the most certain fact of anyone in history. So how would you reply to that? Just ignore the guy, just ignore the guy. Yeah, continue.
He was removed of the...
Finish your point?
Yeah, finish. I want you to deal with the point, yeah.
He was crucified, but he didn't die on it.
Just ignore him.
He was crucified, but he didn't die.
Don't, you'll just encourage him. Go on.
So the idea of like the academic basis, the historic basis, the way
They did not kill him. Not.
Shall we move this way so those two can argue? Come on, come on, move this way. If you want to listen to us, carry on. Go on.
So I think I'm sure you know because you've debated a lot of Muslims. The Muslim perspective on the crucifixion is that perhaps a crucifixion happened, but it wasn't Jesus. That's the claim that Muslims make.
Yes.
That's the claim in the Quran.
Yes.
Okay. It's not the idea is that there's no such thing as crucifixions. It never happened. If there was any sources about it, it's all corruption. That doesn't matter. That just comes down to like a faith-based argument.
Right.
That's like what I believe.
Yes.
What you believe.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't really matter. The criteria, like, how do we go through to understand if something is truth? You said, look for the early sources, we look for multiple sources.
An independent source.
An independent source. For your basis on faith, for Jesus, 30 years after his time, you go for diverse opinions, consensus. You admit that it went through process of elimination.
Tell me when you want me to reply.
No, you can go.
Okay,
can jump in.
so what I'm saying to you is that when we've got a historical fact to investigate, we've got two claims about Jesus Christ. One, Christian claim, Christ was crucified. Two, Islamic claim, Christ was not crucified. Right, so my point being is that when we're investigating these two contradictory claims, what we need to do is investigate what evidence is available. Let me finish.
Because you're just going to repeat what you just said. Right? I'm saying to you that Muslims believe that Christ wasn't the one who was crucified. So if you're going to give me a list of academic, this person is stated.
So let me come to that point then. Let me come to that point then. Let me come to that point.
That's just a non-point.
Let me come to that point.
Fair enough.
Let me come to that point. Let me come to that point. Let me come to that point, yeah. Because the thing is, if you're saying that Allah deceived everyone into thinking that someone was crucified who was what? No, you have said, and the Quran states, what the Quran states is that the Jews claim that they have crucified the Messiah Jesus, but verily they have not. It was made to appear to them. Who made it to appear to them? Allah. So if Allah deceives the people into thinking that Christ was crucified and allowed that lie to be spread around the world for 600 years before he decides to correct it, then your God, let me finish. Are we just going to interrupt one another now? Shall we just do that? Shall we just start interrupting one another? Right, so from now on, I'm going to interrupt him. One second, I'm going to interrupt him going forward because that's the kind of debate he wants. So the reality is, if Allah deceives people for 600 years, then that means that he is an established deceiver, an established liar.
Yes.
And in your own hadiths, you wouldn't trust someone in the chain of hadiths who was a liar, so you wouldn't trust Allah if he was in the chain of an hadith about Muhammad. You would see the name Allah in the hadith chain and you would go, well, we can't trust this hadith. It's da'if. Why is it da'if? Because Allah is a known liar. Now, if Allah is a liar, how do you know he's not lying to you about what he said about Muhammad?
You literally apply that argument to literally everything you say. That's a
Go on then,
flawed
do it.
foundation. You
Do it.
literally just said, if Allah did this, therefore it was a deception. And how could
What
your
else would you
Allah-
call it?
How could your Allah?
What
allow
else
such
would
a
you
thing?
call it?
Listen.
What
let me
else
finish
would
my
you call
point.
it?
So then you could literally use
What
that
else would you
argument
call
for
it?
everything. You could literally. How does Allah?
What
or
else
God
would you
allow
call it?
Cancer in children. How does Allah allow all the
What else
wars
would
to
you call
happen?
it? What else would you call it?
We don't know his.
What else
the
would you
reason
call
why
it?
he did it.
That's not my question.
No,
I didn't ask the reason why he did it.
You call it.
What
deception.
else would you call it?
What else would I call it?
What would you call it?
God's will.
God's will. What happened? Describe what happened to people. What did people see on the cross according to the Islamic perspective?
From the Islamic perspective, the true believers knew it wasn't.
No. What did the people who saw that man on the cross that they thought was Jesus, what did they see?
They saw a crucifixion.
Of who? From their perspective.
The people who wanted to see Jesus crucified.
What did they see?
They saw Jesus crucified.
And was it Jesus on the cross?
No.
Was-
Not according to Islam.
So in other words, they saw something that wasn't true. Is that correct?
If God willed for certain people to see that, then yeah. 'Cause there's
Yes,
people who-
yes, it is
people who-
correct.
'cause people.
What do you
there are
call
people-
it?
People who wanted to see.
If I tricked you into believing something to be true that wasn't true, what would you call me? A liar. He said he would call me a liar. So when I trick him into believing something that's not true, he would call me a liar, but he won't call Allah a liar for doing exactly the same thing.
to the non-believers, not to the.
Oh, does that make it okay then?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
What,
Yes, it does. James, bro.
Are you saying, is it okay for
Right.
God to punish the non-believers? And you go,
Right.
is that okay?
Bro,
Everything you say.
do you want to jump into the debate?
You've twisted it.
Do you want to jump in? Jump in.
You've twisted it in a very clever way.
Oh, I'm very clever.
He's clarified it 6,000 years down the line.
600.
600. After he clarified it. No, he didn't deceive anyone.
It didn't deceive anyone. So, but he said he did.
I used the word deception.
That's why I'm.
He said he did deceive.
No, I do the deception.
So sorry, one second.
Words in my mouth.
Sorry, let's be clear.
He's clarified.
Let's be clear.
He's clarified.
600 years later.
Yeah.
600 years
Same
later.
as any evidence.
What about the person in the year 300 that died believing Christ was crucified because Allah tricked the people?
They didn't trick anyone.
So tell me, according,
Clarified it.
one second,
600
years later, what about the person in 300 AD who died believing Christ was crucified? What about him?
Who's that?
What about him? Are you saying there were no humans in the year 300 AD?
Are you saying that time is a factor? Why would he send multiple prophets there?
Was happening.
Which Allah made them.
Then
Yeah.
down the line,
Bro,
someone came and clarified it.
Let me ask you the same question that I asked him. Right, if I made you through making you see something that wasn't true, I want you to answer my question. No, I want you to answer my question. Don't avoid it, don't be a chicken, don't be intellectually dishonest. Answer my question, answer my question, answer my question. If I made you believe something false because I made you see something through some kind of illusion,